Hello, YouTube. It's Jay. So today I want to talk a little bit about the intangible part of the game. I'm going to play some highlights in the background while I'm talking, so you have something to watch. So last week I found a tournament that I can actually play, which has been a challenge, and I need the competitive practice. Just playing around on my own table doesn't really. It will help me with some things, but the competitive mindset is not there. And so I went to go play this tournament, and I'll just tell you up front, I did horribly. It was the worst I've done ever. But that said, it's also almost 20 years since the last time I played any type of tournament or competitive play. So what happened is I found a place that has a tournament on Saturday nights. It's a $20 entry fee, and I thought that it was going to be kind of a 10 or 15 players play, first prize maybe $100, something really small to get started and get myself back into competing. And so I went into it with the mindset that, hey, this will be a pretty easy tournament. I should get in the money and it should be fairly easy. And I got there and my expectation was completely blown. This $20 tournament tends to have 64 players, which is their max field. 64 players. It's a handicap tournament. So right away I was kind of screwed up. And then I didn't really warm up. I kind of sat around for 2 hours and got cold and went into it, not making excuses. I know better than this. I know that I take a little while to warm up and that it is an important part for me to stay warm and to find a place to hit some balls in between matches and things like that. So anyhow, I did pretty much everything wrong at this tournament. So first of all, it's a handicap tournament. I've never been a fan of handicap tournaments, but it's a handicap tournament, and they asked me about my level, and I was honest with them. I told them I don't know. It's been 20 years since I played. I used to play at a very, very high level, but I have no idea how I play now. And so I was handicapped at an 11 out of 15, based partly on my having this channel and based partly on my previous status as a touring pro. So I was handicapped at 11 out of 15, which I don't mind. I like the idea that I'm going to have to play seriously if I want to win, I want to force myself to perform. Okay, so I did not. I went 2 and out in the tournament. The first one was a race. I needed to win 11 games. He needed to win 4 games. And he won it 4-2. And primarily because I was miscuing constantly. And that's my fault. It's my fault because the first time you miscue in a tournament, if your stroke felt right and you miscue, then you need to rough up your tip. You need to pick the tip. You need to do something to aerate the tip. And I didn't do that. And throughout the tournament, throughout my next match that I also lost, I miscued several times in that match too. Purely my fault. I was not in a tournament mindset. I was sitting there reading Kindle in between the 2 matches. I miscued every game that the first guy won. All 4 of his games came from miscues, and both of mine were break and runs. By the way, the tournament was also alternating break format, which I strongly dislike. I've never. I'm a rhythm player, meaning I get into a rhythm and I just keep going, and I never had a chance to get into a rhythm in an alternating break format. I really dislike that format. But anyhow, so I'm sorry, I did not miscue all 4. I miscued 3, and then the 4th one, I shot a 7-ball into a corner pocket, and I needed to hit it with a little speed, and I did. And loose cloth in the pocket caused the 7-ball. It hit inside the jaws, all the way down near the pocket, which is exactly where it was supposed to hit. But the felt was loose, and the 7-ball hung in the corner. Yeah, so again, getting back to totally my fault. I should have looked at it. I should have taken into account that the tables weren't in the best condition. They were very fast, very. I would say that it's probably been a year in a busy pool hall since the tables were recovered. Again, my fault. I also wasn't focused, and most importantly of all, I put a lot of pressure on myself to perform, expecting to walk in and shoot pool like I did 20 years ago, and that's not a realistic expectation for a first tournament coming back to the game. So, all in all, this week I've been working on keeping my focus. I've been working on thinking my way through the racks. Today, so it's Saturday, the tournament's tonight if I want to go play it, and I probably will. The focus for me tonight is today, getting ready to this, is going to be slowing down, taking my time, figuring out the shots, figuring out what I want to do, and not taking things for granted, because ultimately that's what got me in trouble, was that I took things for granted. When it's easy to play pool when you're playing on your own table and there's no pressure and there's no competitor, and you're just playing racks. It becomes very easy to play the game. What I need to focus on is not underestimating opponents. I certainly underestimated the 4. He ran several times, 3, 4, 5, 6 balls, and if he had better control of the cue, he would jump probably to about an 8. It was his only problem was cue ball control. Now my second match was a 8-5 match. I needed 8 games. He needed 5, which means he was an 8, which is the starting handicap at this tournament. So it was his first time playing in this tournament. He was every bit an 8. He won 5-4. He did not make any mistakes. All 4 of my wins were break and runs. His 5 wins were on his own breaks. And if I missed a ball, he ran out from there. So he was definitely an 8. Anyhow, so I just wanted to give you some thoughts about mindset of the game when you're in a tournament, and prep, and how important that is.